Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Guys, it is currently 5 o'clock in the morning. I just got my husband off to work. My son is sleeping like a little angel in the next room. So we're going to have to be just a little bit quiet for this video. But I just got a wild hair up my hiney, and I decided it was time for me to rank my Profusion palettes. Now, I have not seen a video like this in all of my perusing on YouTube, so I'm hoping that I'm the first one to do it. If not, I just haven't seen it yet, but hopefully there's not a million of them out there. I have 1,000,001 Profusion palettes. I have very close to all of them, all of the like staple ones anyway, so I'm really excited to do this kind of ranking for you guys. I really want to let you guys know what's the most fun and what's kind of none. You know what I mean? And I'm just super, super excited. I have my makeup done. I feel like I look very, very cute at the moment. Kind of feeling myself. My nails look ragged, so we're not going to pay attention to that right now. But we're going to have some fun with these palettes right now. I'm going to go ahead and roll up my sleeves because I'm probably going to be doing a ton of swatching. I'm going to try not to do too much because a lot of the colors are fairly similar. So I don't feel like I need to do a lot of swatching, but I do want to jump just like right in. I have these set up into like size categories, so we're going to start with the smaller 10 pan palettes first and then work our way up to the bigger ones. The smaller 10 pan palettes are actually my favorites. I have quite a few of these. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I think I have about 9 of them. I have most, if not all, of the smaller 10 pan palettes. The only ones that I don't have are the citrine. I don't have the citrine and I don't have the pastels. We're going to work through what I've got though. I have these ranked in order of favorite to least favorite, and let's just jump right into it. So the first one is this one. This one is a very, very new one. This one came out just in the last like 3 months. This is the Euphoria one. I love this color story. I think this is one of the more interesting color stories that they have. There's a lot of really nice depth in this palette. You've got some really, really nice deep dark shades. You've got some really light shades. You've got a nice mix of mattes and shimmers. The shimmers in here are spectacular. They're so, so nice. I do want to swatch this kind of violet shimmer. Can you guys tell I've been swatching already? This is really beautiful violet shimmer. It's got kind of like a blue shift to it. It's really, really special. Very, very beautiful. And then you've got this like taupey shimmer in here as well. Really, really beautiful. It's like taupey silver. So, so gorgeous. You've got really, really beautiful deep dark not black, but like royal blue in here. You've got this black. Now this has like micro shimmers in it, but when you put it on the eye, it blends very much like a matte shadow. So I'm going to classify this as a matte shadow. The shimmer, the little glitter particles don't fall all over your face, but they do give it just like a little bit of a shine that's very, very pretty and very, very attractive. The grays in here are very, very nice. This dove gray color is actually a very beautiful transition color. Every look that I make with this palette is always so interesting. I really, really love that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is going to have to be the Mauves palette. So this is very well loved by me. This is probably the oldest Profusion palette that I own. It's the very first one that I bought. It is just a classic, like rosy toned neutral palette. These mauve tones are so beautiful. They are so flattering for every single eye color. I really believe that everybody should have a palette like this in their collection. So, so gorgeous. This is so great for going like soft glam, very beautiful, like just it enhances any eye color in the most beautiful way. Again, you've got a really nice mix of mattes and shimmers. So in this one, there are 4 shimmers, and then the rest are mattes. I really like that this is a matte heavy palette. Again, this one has nice, it's got all right depth. I do think that this one has better depth than this one does. This one I feel like is just a lot of mid-tones. You do get a couple of deeper shades in here, but what really stands out to me in this palette are the shimmers. This really beautiful shimmer right here is so gorgeous. It goes on the eye so beautifully. The Profusions, I can't talk, and it's because I haven't been to bed yet. The shimmer formula in these palettes is really nice. It really stands out to me. I do want to swatch this matte shade for you. This is the deepest matte shade in the palette. Really beautiful. There's no skipping. There's no patchiness. It's a really beautiful formula, guys. And these palettes go for like $5 at Walmart. That's where I get mine at. So worth the money. And not only are they worth the money, but they're super accessible. So great. You don't have to worry about them getting busted up in the mail. It is so nice. Number 3 is going to be the Meadow Palette. This one I think is super special as well. This one is it's a very matte heavy palette, which I adore. You guys know I like to build with mattes and then accentuate with shimmers. The good thing about it is they don't count on the shimmer formula to like carry the whole palette. Their matte formula is just as good as the shimmer formula is. Again, I think this one has really nice depth. You've got a lot of really beautiful kind of like transition shades, and then you've got deeper, darker shimmers. You've got, the only thing I could say about this palette that I wish it had would be a lighter shimmer formula, like a lighter shimmer shade, just for like a highlight. This one is really nice, but I feel like it's a little bit too dark to be a highlight shade. It's a very beautiful palette though. This is like, I feel like this is such a foresty, it gives me like woodland forest, like vibes. It's so beautiful. I feel like a forest fairy every time I wear this. You could use this whole row and do a beautiful like green teal eye look, and then you can use this row and do a very beautiful red kind of warm toned eye look, and then you can mix the two together and get the it is so pretty. I have used this multiple times, and I gotta tell you, it is such a beautiful palette. Every eye look I come out with is always so interesting. I wouldn't normally like put these colors, like these blues and these reds together in the same eye look, but the way that they have this laid out, it really works. You can kind of look at this palette and know exactly what you want to do with it, and I think that is the best part of a 10-pan palette. A 10-pan, a 6-pan, a 4-pan, the work is pretty much done for you. All you've got to do is really put it on your eye. And this is such a beautiful palette. This color here is like a deep, dark, kind of like Merlot burgundy color. Really beautiful. It pulls more brown than it does red, but it is such a beautiful color. It's great for deepening up the crease. This one I have used for a transition shade. This one I've used for a transition shade. You can really just go so many different directions with this palette, and I think it's so much fun. The next one is, so number 4 would be the Emeralds. Now this is just a really great green palette. Super fun. Again, you've got like a warm tone, maybe not a warm, but I would say that's more neutral than it is anything. But I do like that these are like warm toned greens, not super cool. You've got a nice mix of both warm and cool tones in here. These are more cool, and I would say that these are like more this is more like a warm tone. Anyway, it is so beautiful. The eye looks that I make with this are so stunning. The greens in here manage to be like swampy and murky, but vivid and bright at the same time. They are so beautiful. I love that they've paired it with these gold shimmers. You get like, it's almost royal. It almost has like this royal kind of rich, that's the word that I'm looking for. It is such a rich, like these beautiful rich jewel toned greens and these bright golds. I love that this the golds in here have a slight green undertone, so everything ties in really beautiful. And then to kind of break it up, you've got these kind of like bluish green tones, more teal tones. This is really special. This is actually kind of like a duochrome, so it goes on and it's like a very dark green, but then it's got like a gold kind of a gold, very dark purple shift to it. It is actually a stunning, stunning shade. I feel like this palette is worth having just for this shade alone. It is absolutely gorgeous. This shimmer is stunning as well. Really, really beautiful palette. I probably should have ranked this just a little bit higher because this is really just a fantastic, fantastic palette. You cannot beat the quality, and I feel like the way that they put these palettes together and the colors they choose to mix and match are just so well thought out. I really, really loved it. I love this palette. Definitely one of my absolute favorites. Now, this one is just the smoky one. This is the Smoky Palette, and this is just an everyday, just perfect glam palette. You've got beautiful, I would say this is more of a cool tone palette. You've got a lot of really beautiful cool toned, leaning neutral shades in here. You've got, again, it got really nice depth. You've got a nice deep dark shade here. You've got really nice light shades. I like that they give you a light matte and a light shimmer. Really beautiful, lots of nice mid-tones in here. Really, really great palette. This one, I feel like you could wear every single day and still come up with a different eye look every time you used it. It's really just so versatile, really perfect for everyday use or even like date night. This is a perfect, perfect smoky glam palette. I love this one as well. Next, we have the Rubies palette. This one, I think that the colors are absolutely stunning. Really beautiful bright crimson shade right here. I feel like this is like a true warm crimson red, and then you've got something that's just a little bit cooler toned. I love that they give you a warmer and a cooler toned option. I think that is so smart. Again, you've got a nice light highlight shade. You've got a couple of really beautiful like mid-tone transition shades. You've got a deeper kind of matte red to kind of deepen up your crease, and then you've got some different tones in here, more pinky tones to kind of break up the monotony. Really beautiful colors, really beautiful color story. I do wish, I'm gonna swatch the matte red for you. Like, this is what I wish the Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions palette had. Just a really beautiful, super pigmented, true red color. I feel like that's what that palette was missing. This is an absolutely stunning palette. I'm going to swatch this kind of like rose gold shimmer. So gorgeous. I mixed up my swatches, so that's on me. The actual color is so much prettier than that. My fingers are dirty. It's a really, really beautiful palette though. And then you've got like another one of those kind of like duochrome shades. This is gold, like a deep burnished brassy gold, but then it's got like a reflect of red to it that I think is so special. It just goes on the eye and it reads so beautifully. Again, super like value for money is fantastic. I cannot get enough of these Profusion palettes. I really can't. Every time I find out that they've come out with a new one, I have Mr. Hubby take me to Walmart because I have to get it. I have to get it before they sell out. So these are my two least favorite ones. Now, this is the fuchsia one. I was disappointed with this one. I didn't think that the pinks in here were all that special. The purple shades in here are actually really pretty. But again, I don't think there's very much depth in here. There's not a lot of diversity. I feel like a lot of the shades read too similar on the eye. The pink shade is very pretty, but it's not quite as pigmented. Like, I wish that it was as bright and pigmented as the red, but for some reason the pink just kind of loses. There's something lost in translation for me. It's not very pigmented. It's kind of patchy. It just kind of skips. The formula is different in this one. The shimmers in here, again, are beautiful. Really gorgeous. This pink one is so pretty. This is probably my favorite shade in the entire palette. These purples are nice as well, but the actual pink, really beautiful, kind of like magenta purple shade. But the pinks in here are just it's just a big letdown. I don't like either one of these. And then you've got more like mauve toned, pinky, rosy neutrals. I don't know. This palette just really didn't do it for me. I used it once and I haven't really touched it again. I feel like Profusion gets a lot right, but they need to work on their pink formula. Same for this. This is a really beautiful rainbow palette. The colors are bright. They're vivid. It's everything you would want from a rainbow palette. You've got, again, I mean, it's a rainbow palette, so you're not going to expect lots of depth and lots of variety. A rainbow palette is by its very nature one shade of each color in the rainbow. That aside, again, the pink in here just didn't do it for me. It's got that same kind of like almost skippy texture. I will say that this one is better than this one in the fuchsia palette, but still it's fairly patchy. It's kind of skippy. Not my favorite. The blues in here, I don't know. They all just kind of, did you see? They're kind of like, they're not as pigmented. They're kind of chalky. This palette just didn't do it for me. I was hoping that I would like it more than I do. Unfortunately, it was just kind of a letdown. They're just kind of streaky and not the best formula. I will say that the orange is pretty nice, but still it's got the same kind of like streaky. I would just say skip this one. This one is really not worth the $5 that you're going to spend on it. They don't swatch very well. I will say that they go on the eye just a little bit better than they swatch, but still you have to work with it so awful much. I just think this is kind of a waste, which is so sad because the colors are so gorgeous, but unfortunately the formula is just not there. Moving on to some of the larger palettes, this is where it gets so much fun. I love a lot of the larger palettes. I don't have as many of the larger palettes as I do the smaller ones. The larger palettes are just a bit more expensive. I believe these go for around $10 to $15. It's been a while since I've bought one of the larger ones, so don't quote me on that, but I do know that they are more expensive than the $5 10-pan palettes. So my favorite is going to have to be the Sultry. The reason that these are some of my favorites is because not only is the packaging so much better, it feels heavy. It's plastic packaging. It feels heavy. It feels luxe. Not like high-end, but it feels like good drugstore packaging. It's really nice. And then not only that, but it comes with a brush. And the Profusion brushes are actually some of my absolute favorite blending brushes. They are absolutely so amazing. Let me see. This is one. So this is what the Profusion blending brushes look like. They are so nice. They're actually really well made. They're not too heavy. They feel nice in the hand, but they have these domed, very kind of like almost densely packed bristles. They are so perfect for blending. It is so easy to do an eye look just using this brush. You do like a little smoky action. This is such a great brush. If you ever get a chance to get one of these palettes and you find the brush in there, really try out the brush because this one is definitely worth it. So going back to the palette, this is the Sultry palette. This is the Color Story. Again, this is pretty neutral. I would say it's like a cool toned neutral palette with pops of blue and green. It's a really gorgeous palette. Just like it says, you can make a smoky, sultry, deep, dark, sexy eye look with this in a heartbeat. The pans are pretty small, but you get a nice variety. I like that there is a lot of depth in this palette as well. You get really light shades all the way to deep, dark, very rich shades. I love the greens and blues in here. Again, nice mix of mattes and shimmers. I really just like, I feel like this is the Smoky palette just on steroids. That's basically what it is. It's a cool toned neutral palette with pops of blue and green. Really beautiful palette. Perfect for every day. This is really nice. I enjoy this palette thoroughly. The next one I want to talk about is the Enchanted palette. This is an all shimmer palette, and I just gotta say, the shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. These are all jewel toned shimmers. I have not tried a single shimmer in here that I didn't instantly fall in love with. They're all so pigmented. I will say that they are maybe just a tiny bit, see, that is the most beautiful, like, slate gray kind of silver shimmer. They're so pigmented. They are they go on so smoothly. They are so good. I can't really say much bad about this palette. This is my absolute favorite. It is, of course, you can't do, I'm not one to do an all shimmer look very often. So this is what I would call a companion palette. I do use this quite often with like more matte palettes and like matte heavy palettes, just because the shimmers in here are so beautiful. But I really do, like I said, like I like to build with mattes and then accentuate with shimmers. But this is definitely worth having in your collection. There is a shimmer in here for every occasion. The colors in here, you go from really light to really dark. You've got beautiful warm tones, cool tones. I just think that this is so worth having, and the quality is so fantastic. It is so good. This is definitely in my top 5 of like out of all of my Profusion palettes. This is definitely in the top 5. I absolutely love this palette. This red shimmer is absolutely to die for. This silver is my favorite, but this red shimmer is absolutely beautiful as well. So beautiful. Like if I put this on my eye and told you I used a Huda Beauty palette to do it, there's no way that you would know that I was lying to you, because they are such good quality. You just can't beat it. And for $10, which is how much I think this palette was, for $10, I would pay that over and over and over again. Just really fantastic. The next one I want to talk to you about is the Mauves Palette. This I just love because it's an all matte palette. There is so much you can do with this palette. I very often use this palette and the Enchanted Palette together, just because this is all mattes. There's a matte in here for everything that I would need. Again, it's very neutral, but you have a couple pops of color. You've got some nice like plummy tones, you've got a bright yellow, you've got warm tones, you've got a couple of cooler tones, like cooler rosy tones down here. This is just a very nice everyday palette. And then paired with the Enchanted Palette and added with those shimmers, you can really get, it's super easy to get something very special. The next one I want to talk about is the Nude Bliss Palette. This is a really beautiful, again, this one came with a brush. These ones are so worth it just because they come with brushes. So good. I love the brushes. I can't brag about those enough. But this is a perfect, like, rosy toned, like, cool toned, rosy neutral palette. It is so beautiful. This is the only palette that I have gone through so far that you actually get a pressed glitter. I will say that this pressed glitter, though pressed glitters are not my absolute favorite, this one is very nice. It sticks to the eye really well. It's got a lot of really beautiful kind of like dimension in it. Please excuse my nail. It's gross, and I'm sorry. I'm going to do my nails as soon as I can take a little bit of a nap. But it's just so beautiful. Such a multi-dimensional shimmer, like glitter formula. Really beautiful. The tones in here are so beautiful. I think, again, they would be super flattering for just about anyone. One of my favorite colors in here is this camel color. I think it's so special. It's just a really beautiful, rich camel color. It is a perfect, this is one of those colors that you can just kind of pop through your crease and then add a shimmer on the lid and you are good to go. It is really just a beautiful, and they're so creamy. The matte formula is so creamy and easy to use. There's a shimmer in here called Preppy. It's just like a rosy, rose gold pink. You can't really see it on my skin tone, but when you put it on the eye with that camel color, it is so beautiful. It is subtle, but it is an elegant all at the same time. Perfect for everyday wear. I really do so much enjoy this palette. So that was the Nude Bliss. The next one I wanted to talk about is the Wanderlust Palette. Now, this palette is beautiful. I love the color story. And here, it's like, again, giving me foresty vibes. You've got really beautiful kind of greens and rich earthy tones. And then you've got beautiful pops of purple and blue. This is an absolutely stunning palette, the color story is gorgeous. I will say that I think that the formula on these is, again, a bit different. I will say that the formula in this one is more akin to the Spectrum palette than it is the Nude Bliss palette. There's something different about these. They're drier, they're more crumbly. The colors are still absolutely gorgeous. The pigmentation is still there, but they just don't apply to the eye the same way as some of the other palettes. They're, like I said, they're a bit drier, they're a bit flakier. Still beautiful, but not my favorite. Same would go for this Cheers palette. I love this color story. I think it's grungy and kind of like, I want to say dirty, but I mean that in the best way possible. Again, this came with a brush, which was one of the biggest reasons I picked the palette up. I actually got this at Burke's. I think I paid about $3 or $4 for this palette. I would do that again in a heartbeat. The oranges in here are really, really beautiful. This is more of like an off palette. So like the colors in here, you're not going to get like a true orange or a true green. They're murky, they're grungy. This is a really, really great burnt eyeshadow palette. So beautiful. This is visually interesting. The formula in here is, it's still very, very nice. I will say that it is, I feel like it's better, definitely 100% better than the Wanderlust palette, but still not quite as good as the Nudes palette. But the, you know what? No, I'm lying to you because I'm swatching the mattes in here. I just did a shimmer and a matte, and they're smooth and they're velvety. I'm not sure why in my brain I thought this wasn't that great, but I'm sitting here touching on the shadows and they feel like velvet. They're super smooth. Oh, that's why. I didn't think that the deeper, darker colors were like super pigmented. This is one of those palettes that you can actually build. It's not like boom, punch you in the face with pigment. This is one of those palettes that you can sit there and you can add and you can build, which is not a bad thing. I just kind of am impatient sometimes and want all my pigment on my eye all at one time. But this, I think, would be great for just about anybody, beginners included, just because you can take your time and you can really build up that pigment and really build up your intensity. Again, I like the variety in this palette. I like the depth. You've got some really nice light transition shades, and then you've got some deeper, darker tones down here. This green shade is so beautiful. This green shimmer, I think, is so special. It's kind of like a lime green, like jewel toned shimmer. It is so beautiful, and it translates on the eye just like it does in the swatch. It's really, really gorgeous. The oranges in here are really, really beautiful as well. I just feel like the green and orange is not a color combination that I would wear very often, which is probably why I didn't rank it higher. This is not like a color combo that I would wear every day of the year, but I do think that this would make a perfect fall and Halloween palette. Really, really beautiful, very interesting color story. The last Profusion palette that we're going to talk about is the Festival one. This one is just a big letdown, guys. It looks beautiful. The color story is just like, you know, you see all these bright, beautiful colors, and you're like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. This, to me, is kind of like a Morphe palette almost gone wrong. And I say that not to be mean, but again, I just have that problem. It's got that dry, crumbly, chalky texture, especially in the red tones. It's almost like they're hard panned. The pink, this pink is actually really, really nice. But then I try to go into this one, and I can barely get, like, I rubbed into that, and I can't really get much pickup on, see how this one is so much better, and then I can't barely get any pickup on my finger. The consistency in this palette is not what I would like it to be, and because of that, this is my least favorite Profusion palette. I think the color story is beautiful. Again, the shimmers, nothing to complain about with the shimmers. They're highly pigmented. I will say that the neutrals in this palette are pretty nice. Let's try this deeper, darker one. Yeah, they're pretty nice. The neutrals are pretty nice, but it's these like these middle shades right here. I don't remember how I felt about the purples. But yes, I do. Okay, so the purples, I just feel like everything in this palette, see, I really swatched that, and there's just not very much pigmentation there. I just feel like the formula of the mattes in this palette is drier. It's a bit chalkier, a bit harder to work with. Just not, and it's not quite as pigmented as the other palettes. So, I mean, but the shimmers in here, I mean, it's worth having just for the shimmers because the shimmers are gorgeous. That would be a beautiful highlight too. I mean, it's worth having. I would not pay full price for this because I feel like these bigger palettes are closer to $15, and there are definitely better palettes out there for that price. So this one, if you can get it on sale for like $5, definitely pick it up. But I would not pay full price for this shadow palette. Too dry, too chalky. Guys, that was all of my Profusion palettes. Oh, wait, I lied to you. I hate lying to you. I have two more. So I have two of the 5-pan glitter palettes. So this is the Ruby one. These are actually really nice. I really, really enjoy having these glitters on hand. They're really beautiful, very multi-dimensional. I mean, glitter is glitter. These do not adhere to your eye, though. These are definitely a glitter formula that you need to have a glitter primer with. If you just tried to stick this onto your eye on top of eyeshadow, it's just going to fall right into your eyes and be a big giant mess. Definitely need a tacky base to make these stick to your eyelids, but I just thought that the colors of the glitters were so beautiful, and they're so multifaceted. They're really, really beautiful, and I think these palettes go for like $3. At least they were $3 when I bought them. So that was the Ruby Gems, and then I also have the Topaz Gems. Now, I got this one just because I thought the glitters were so interesting. I have never really seen glitters that looked like this. This middle one, I think, is so cool. This one is another one of my favorites. It's like gold and taupe and silver and kind of like green and blue. They're so multifaceted, and they add so much fun to any look you add them to. Totally worth having. They don't have that, like, you know how, oh look, I just swatched that, and that is just beautiful. See, in this light it looks gold. Oh, so good, so pretty. Some glitter formulas will have that like jelly consistency. It's like glitter suspended in Vaseline. I can't stand that. I think it's so gross. You put it over your eyeshadow, it smears your eyeshadow, makes everything look patchy. It's gross. This is just straight up glitter pressed into a pan. I think it is so great. When they're in that jelly, I just think they're more trouble than they're worth, and they don't. There's not enough glitter and not enough payoff to make it destroying your eyeshadow worth it. But these are so nice. Definitely my absolute favorite glitters right now. I use these every time I wear glitter. I'm usually wearing either one of these palettes. I think that they are so they're so, oh my gosh, I'm so brain dead, I can't even think. But you can use them for so many different applications. I just think they're absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so happy I have them. I sit here and I look at them, it just makes me smile. It brings me joy. Guys, that's the end of my video. I hope you liked it. I hope I kind of gave you enough information about these palettes, and I really do hope that you will look into Profusion Cosmetics. They are so worth it. Not a lot of people talk about them, but it is such a great brand. Not only that, but they're so accessible. They are at Walmart, y'all. Y'all don't have to pay shipping for them. Y'all don't have to wait for weeks for them to show up in the mail, and y'all don't have to worry about sending them back because they came and you opened the box and they were shattered. Y'all can just go pick them up at Walmart, bring them home, and have the time of your lives putting glitter all over your face. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love you so very much. As always, no filters, no edits, no fancy lighting. It's just me sitting in front of my camera, doing my makeup, talking about makeup, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. As always, I will put the link to my Facebook page in the description box below. Please head on over there and check me out. I'd really appreciate it. Oh, and please do not forget to like and subscribe before you leave. Guys, I'm really hoping that some of y'all are going to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I do these videos because I have so much fun doing them, but it would be nice to know that y'all are liking what I'm doing. Is that all I have to say? I think so. Guys, I'm going to go get my son ready for school, and then I'm going to lay down on the couch, and I'm going to pass out and play dead for the next 6 hours. I love you so, so much. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.